They don't talk to me about the weather, and whenever people talk to me about the weather, I always feel quite certain that they mean something else.
But I mean something else.
I thought so. In fact, I'm never wrong.
Well, I would like to take advantage of Lady Bracknell's temporary absence.
I would certainly advise you to do so.
Gwendolyn, ever since I've met you, I have admired you more than any girl.
Yes, I know what you mean, and you had me more demonstrative. For me, you have always had a fascination. Even before I met you, I liked you.
Really?
My idol has always been to love someone of the name Ernest. There's something in that name that inspires confidence. The moment you told me your name, I knew I was starting to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn.
Passionately.
Gwendolyn, you don't know how happy you made me. But really, you don't mean to say that you couldn't love me if my name wasn't Ernest.
But your name is Ernest.
I know it is, but suppose it wasn't. Couldn't you love me if my name wasn't Ernest? To speak quite candidly, Ernest doesn't suit me at all.
It suits you perfectly. It's a divine name. It has music of its own.
I know it has, but I think the name Jack suits me better.
Jack! No, there's very little music in the name of Jack. No, the only really safe name is Ernest.
Gwendolyn, we must get married at once. There's no time to be lost.
Married?
Yeah, well, surely. You know that I love you, and you made me think that you love me too.
I adore you, but you haven't proposed to me yet, and the subject of marriage has not even been touched.
Well, may I propose to you now?
I think it would be an admirable opportunity, but to spare you an impossible disappointment, I think it's better to tell you beforehand that I'm fully determined to execute.
Gwendolyn.
Yes, right, what say to me?
You know what I got to say.
Yes, but you don't say it.
Gwendolyn, will you marry me?
Of course I will, darling.
I have never loved any other girl in the world but you.
What's wrong with the blue eyes you have? They're quite blue. I hope you will always look at me just like that, especially when there are other people. This is no place for you. Besides, Amos is not quite finished yet.
Pardon me? You are not engaged to anyone. If you do become engaged, I or your father should permit him. An engagement should come on a young girl as a surprise, pleasant or unpleasant as the case may be. And now I have a few questions to ask you, Ernest. Gwendolyn, you will wait for me below in the carriage.
Mama!
In the carriage, Gwendolyn.
Mama!
I have to tell you that you're not down on my list of legal young men. I am quite ready to enter your name, should your answers be what I require. Do you smoke?
To admit, yes.
I'm glad to hear it. A man should always have an occupation of some kind. How old are you?
I'm 29 years old.
A very good age to be married at. And what is your income?
Around 7,000 a
In
year.
land or in investments?
In investments mainly.
That is satisfactory. Land has tended to be either a profit or a pleasure. It gives one position and prevents one from keeping it up. That's all that can be said about it.
I have a country house with some lands, about 1,500 acres. I believe.
Country house. How many bedrooms? Well, that point can be cleared up afterwards. You have a townhouse, I hope? A girl with a simple, unspoiled nature like Gwendolyn could hardly be expected to live in the country.
Yes, I own a house in Belgrade Square.
What number about this?
149.
The unfashionable side. I thought there was something. However, that can easily be altered.
The fashion or the side?
Both if necessary, I presume. Parents living?
No, both of them died.
To lose one parent missing one thing may be regarded as a misfortune. To lose both looks like carelessness. Who was your father? He was evidently a man of some wealth.
Well, Lady Bracknell, I am afraid I really don't know. To be honest, I don't know who I am by birth. My parents seem to have lost me. Well, I was found.
Found?
Thomas Cardew, an old gentleman, found me and gave me the name of Worthing, because he happened to have a first-class ticket for Worthing in his pocket at the time.
And where did this gentleman who had a first-class ticket find you?
In a handbag.
A handbag?
Yes, Lady Bradley. It was in an ordinary.
What character did this Mr. Cardew come across this ordinary handbag?
In the cloakroom at Victoria Station.
The cloakroom at Victoria Station?
Yes.
I confess I feel somewhat bewildered by what you have just told me. To be born and found in a handbag could hardly be regarded as an assured basis for a recognized position in good society.
Well, Lady Bradwell, what will you advise me to do? Because I will do anything to ensure Gwendolyn's happiness.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Worthing, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and to make a definite effort to produce at any rate one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
I don't see how I could possibly manage to do that. I can bring you the handbag at any time. It's in my dressing room at home, and I really think it would satisfy you, Mrs. Bradwell.
Me, sir? What has it to do with me? You can hardly imagine that I and Lord Bracknell would dream of allowing our only daughter to marry into a cloakroom and form an alliance with a parson. Good morning, Mr. Worthing.
Kan ik
I liked you.
Really? Darling, you don't know how happy you've made me. But you don't really say it. You just really need to